These pistols are the famous Liberty Bell flintlock pistols. They were passed down through the family of John Jacob Mickley. Mickley was assigned the task of transporting the famous Liberty Bell from Philadelphia into the Pennsylvania countryside in 1777. These pistols have been featured in multiple publications over the years, so they're actually quite well known. And what happened with these pistols was a bit of a game of telephone. If you look at the earlier publications on the pistols, it was theorized that Mickley carried them while he was guarding the Liberty Bell as it was being transported out of Philadelphia. Subsequent publications change it to he carried these pistols while he was guarding Liberty Bell. What we now know is that these pistols were actually not manufactured until the early 19th century. They're by Peter Kunz. He was active in the early 19th century, and if you look at the locks, they're by W. Allport, who, if I remember correctly, was active at earliest in 1807. So that's right at the end of Mickley's life. Now, Mickley's son, of the same name, as was pretty common in the time period, was also involved in transporting the Liberty Bell. So it's possible they were actually his pistols and used in the early 19th century. Regardless, they are well documented as having come out of the Mickley family, which is the family that got the honor of transporting the Liberty Bell out of Philadelphia to keep it out of British hands. And all of that aside, it's a great story no matter what, but all that aside, these are incredibly rare pistols. We have sold several American Kentucky pistols in some of our recent sales, but don't let that fool you. These pistols are incredibly rare. They did not make that many pistols in the United States in the early national period. Most of the pistols that were being used here are being imported from England. So when you do have examples, there's something special, and when you have examples that survive, obviously they're even specialer, because a lot of times you don't have a full pair. You have one gun here, one gun there, sometimes they're all restored. Here we have a genuine pair, a matching pair by Peter Kunz, and on top of that, they're one of the most exceptional pairs of American Kentucky pistols I've ever had the honor of cataloging. So if you take a look at the pistols, you can see that they've got W. Allport locks, like I mentioned, from the early 19th century. And then you take a look at the barrels, this is where you start to really notice how exceptional these pistols are. So they've got, traditional Kentucky-style blade and notch sights, nice and low profile, as was standard in that era. You've got a little bit of engraving on the barrel, which you don't see very often. But then you have inlays, and you've got silver inlays, and you've got this interesting brass inlay that kind of borders around the rear sights. And the inlay right in front of the rear sight is signed P. Kunz. If you come back a little further, again confirming that this is a pistol by Peter Kunz, you've got these star-shaped inlays on either side of the tang. That is a feature we have seen on other Peter Kunz pistols, including some that are published and some that we have sold in the past. And then if you take a look at the furniture of this pistol, most pistols in this era are going to have brass furniture. On this pair, we've got silver furniture. So we've got silver fore-end caps, silver ramrod pipes, silver inlaid accents around the rear wedges. You've got silver side plates and dual side plates, not one big piece, you've got two separate plates. You've got these really nicely shaped silver trigger guards with some beautiful finials here that again kind of coordinate with the other inlays. You've got silver diamonds with engraving here, and then you've got the silver pommel caps. Again, in keeping with American firearms from Pennsylvania in the time period, you've got a curly maple stock with a beautiful varnished finish, and then you've got multi-point checkering here on the wrist. You don't see checkering on American firearms from this era nearly as commonly as you see it on foreign firearms, so it's pretty neat to see this really fine, well-executed checkering on both of these pistols. So this beautiful pair of pistols, the Liberty Bell pistols, are for sale in our upcoming December premiere firearms auction, and you can get an opportunity not to own one American Kentucky pistol, but a beautiful pair by one of the most famous American gun makers of the early national period.